Hey guys, Chad here from Take It or Leave It, here with a movie review for you for the film Azrael. Here's the synopsis. In a world where no one speaks, a devout community hunts down a young woman who has escaped imprisonment. Recaptured, Azrael is due to be sacrificed to an ancient evil in the wilderness, but fights for her own survival. Alright, with that down, let's get into the pros and the cons, starting with the pros. Well, first off, leave it to E.L. Katz to make a post-apocalyptic thriller horror action movie that has no dialogue in it and is never boring. Like seriously, I was never bored in this film, and it could be boring in two different directions. Either there's not enough going on and with no dialogue it's super boring, or it could be that there's too much action, there's way too much going on, the film never stops to take a breath, and diminishing marginal return kicks in, and the film ends up being boring as a result of that. But luckily, the director of Cheap Thrills is finally back, and he really strikes this nice balance such that the pacing really worked throughout the film. But if you're going to roll the dice on dialogue free, then you definitely have to have the performers that can handle that. And Samara Weaving was definitely up for the challenge because she gives a fantastic dialogue free performance here. You know, we talk about actresses who played tough female heroes from the past like Sigourney Weaver, Linda Hamilton, Jamie Lee Curtis, and between the film Mayhem, Ready or Not, and now this film, I'm pretty sure those folks need to make some room for Samara Weaving. Just like those other movies that I mentioned, she gives a fantastic performance in this film with some very, very convincing action and fighting sequences. But I also have to mention the varied, tense, and thrilling action sequences, because I think those kept the film from getting stale. You know, whether it's escaping a cult's human sacrifice, taking a cult member mano a mano, or taking on the entire cult herself, there's a ton of effectively thrilling and suspenseful action sequences in this film. And this doesn't even account for the demon-related action sequences, which are brutal, gory, and gruesome as all hell. But lastly, for the pros, I gotta mention the world building, in particular toward the end of the film. Between the over-black written prologue, the paintings in the cult's church, prior biblical knowledge, and generally putting two and two together, I found myself becoming really interested and caught up in the more macro in scope and biblical elements of this post-rapture world. But with all that being said, let's now get on to some of the issues that I had with the film. The first being that I barely recall what specifically happened in the second act of the film. That's not to say that I was bored. I wasn't bored during the second act of the film. I just can't remember what happened. It wasn't memorable. You know, the first act, it set everything up and kicked us off with a really thrilling and scary opening. The third act, it incorporates all the really cool biblical and world-building elements. But as for the second act, cool chases, scary action, intense fight sequences? Yep, it was all there, but it was just very forgettable relative to the other acts of the film. I also felt very disconnected from the cult that's hunting Azrael, which was definitely disappointing because the cult and what they're committed to doing is by far the most interesting part of the film. And by the time that we got to that really cool, interesting world-building third act, it felt kind of tacked on rather than an organic and integral part of the narrative. This film definitely has elements of The Road, I Am Legend, and Ready or Not. In particular, The Road. This is a really gritty, gnarly film, and I gotta give Azrael a 7.3 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts, take it or leave it. What do you guys think? Have you heard of this film? Have you seen it yet? Does it sound interesting to you? And what other movies does it remind you of if you've seen it or if you've seen the trailer? There's definitely more than just The Road, I Am Legend, and Ready or Not. Let me know down in the comments section. Let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this video but you want more information about what's on my watch list, what I'm currently watching, the kind of ratings I'm giving these films, as well as upcoming releases I'm looking forward to, don't forget to follow me on track.tv. My username is TIOLI_reviews. The link is in the description box. Go ahead and click it and start following me on Tracked, and I look forward to seeing you over there. And as usual, guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, I'm Chad from Take It or Leave It, and I'll check you later.
Check you later. Check you later.
Hey, man, get off my case.
Oh, man. Chicks don't want to hear that shit.